Just a, yeah, so welcome once again to the seventh session. And I was just seeing that how far we have come from the first day when we did that onboarding. If you remember, it was not even session one, we could call it session zero, where we did then
Yeah.
onboarding and we spoke about each other, we tried to understand each other, and you shared about your translation work, how deeply you feel about that and how it is your passion. You also spoke a little bit about your previous job, and then you spoke about your passion about that podcast for, a lot of that,
The
and then
tech.
how you want to bring technology to laymen in simple terms and explain them. So all of that we spoke. And if you remember, we also did the CMR activities from there, from session zero. And then it has been quite a long, it didn't feel like that 7 weeks have passed, but then we have covered not only mind mapping, but we have come, I think, in this journey quite a bit, that now somehow because when I saw the map, this map, the second branch where you speak about your family and how, the first word you wrote was Philip. And that shows that, it is already, um, your maps are evolving, I would say. That would be the perfect way to say that your maps are evolving from where, and that happens with all of us. I'll share with you a story even before we go forward. That first time when somebody told me about mind map, and I thought, okay, I was doing it this way. So was it mind map? I didn't know it was called mind map or whatever. I was just trying to do
Mhm.
some random things and some pictures and all, but not in the proper format like the way we are doing now. And then when I got introduced to this mind map by Tony Buzan, and okay, these are the rules and all, I said, okay, let me mind map what my teacher is speaking in the class. And the first mind map when I made, when the person was teaching about mind map, and I thought, let me mind map it. All I did was, after 3 hours, or maybe not 3 hours, maybe around 2 hours with breaks and all. So 2 hours of lecture, I kept on just drawing one branch, and only the one branch was expanding. And I never realized when the teacher actually, the person who was teaching, he was going from one topic to other, and I didn't have any idea that, okay, the teacher will not say, I'm going to topic two, I'm going to topic three. It is me who have to understand that, okay, this is the subheading. And of course, that did not come in the first go. And then even now I'm in contact with that person who first, sparked that, okay, no, you can do it and all that. So when he sees my mind map now and my books now, he says, okay, Shubha, I can see that 10, 12 years of journey from that only in one branch, everything you
Yeah,
put it.
yeah, yeah.
And
This
my
is
entire
really just
paper
a
was
list.
blank. The entire paper was blank. Only one branch was increasing because I had no idea that what do I do next. So
Yes.
this journey itself is beautiful when we see that our mind maps are evolving, and instead of writing sentences, we tend to write one words and pictures, and I can see a beautiful heart shape at the center of your map. So all of that, and the experience is quite personalized. So um, today, what we're going to do is, of course, I would want you to talk a little bit more, maybe in between or somewhere, that are you able to use it for your productivity? Somehow it has increased, or are you able to use it for some of your maybe translation work? Or if not right now, maybe in future, can you integrate it with that? Also, today I'm going to talk about that book mapping. If you remember, last week we
Yes.
did one, so we'll do one more mind map on that. We have the podcast, and then I'll also show you a small mind map of uh, in case in future you just think about that, okay, whatever I have learned, or we all have some, or through our experience we all learn something, and if you want to make a short course about it, let's say 10 videos about it, or 10 course, so a small online course mind map template, so I'll share that with you.
Oh, that would be great because I have another dream, and that's to teach technical writing to online to especially to English speaking countries where technical writing is not something you can take classes on. So
Wow.
I taught technical
Surely, I
writing
think
and
then
read it
this mind map will help
curriculum.
you.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
surely. And so I didn't knew that you had that, but then I thought, okay, why not share that mind map with you as well? So lovely. Now that I know there's this purpose also, it'll be even fantastic. So yeah, and if you have seen the workflow link that was shared with you,
Yes.
So that this were some very deep level questions. It's more like
Oh, yeah.
self-reflection and all of that. So uh, maybe your experience you can share, and then we can go to the mind maps. Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm trying to send you an email
Mm-hmm.
um, with the picture, and for some reason I cannot right now, but I can walk you through what it is. So the first thing I want to observe is how intense the work of mind mapping the trip was. The
Mm-hmm.
reason I only did half of it was I was exhausted. Um, it's like it really pulled, it made me pull into places I wouldn't normally. I wouldn't normally write what I felt about certain things. I would only write maybe what I thought, but probably just record the facts. So it was really good to do that. And so I, I I think so. It was very cool when I saw your links, your exercise, because I'm like, yes, I mean, my travel map showed me that I can use it to process emotions, right? Capture emotions, and that helps in processing. So yeah, so you're gonna see at some point there will be a heart on this one. There will be a heart with tears. So the first one I did was I only got through one. I'm sorry, I'm just doing so much traveling. I'm in New York right now.
It's okay. Yeah.
It was to show purpose and progress, and I decided to look at a decision that I made recently that was actually very, very hard to make.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, do I go meet my brothers in Germany? So the first branch I call personal, because there was just a lot of my emotional needs and drivers behind this trip. It was an opportunity for me to really get some closure on my healing process, because my older brother used to be my second favorite person in the whole world. My favorite person was my grandma. So I felt that until he laid eyes on me, I wasn't recovered, right? So I needed him to see that I was okay and I could walk, and all this sort of other stuff. So that was really important, and to address just my loneliness, my longing for him. And then also it was important for me to give him support at this time. He's in a very difficult spot. He's kind of lost his center. He is generally the kindest, most generous person I know. And he's just so tied up in knots trying to please his wife, who is not pleasable. Anyways, so so off the personal issues, I kind of did a sub branch from what my decision was or my attitude, and I just said my needs first. So 2 loops. I thought that was really, really important. And then came all the family drama that occurred around this decision. I call that one dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and uh, at first, my brother was excited that I was coming with. At the same time, my little brother was there, and then he called me and told me he didn't think it was a good idea, and that broke my heart, literally. So it it took patience and listening over a few conversations to figure out what the issue was, and I was able to offer a solution of, okay, so your wife can't stand your family for more than 4 days. And during one of our conversations with the wife, during one of mine, she said, yeah, I can't, it's not just you guys I can't stand for 4 days, it's anyone. So and then I also really had to communicate with my husband. He was going to go, then not go, not go. And he's also struggling with deep anxiety right now. And then, of course, my daughter, her health. How do I feel leaving this child, but she's got self-care? And then I moved into the planning because that was actually very complex, just everything. You'll see a picture. I don't have to go into those details. And then the agenda and the trip map shows what I did, but the agenda branch here shows how I didn't know what I was going to do at all.
And it happens quite a lot of times, yeah.
I had some plans, so I wrote them all down so I would kind of like remember how chaotic that whole thing was. And the center of it is the picture I drew. I can't draw, you know. I don't know if you can. It's
I
an
can see.
airplane in clouds.
Yeah, cloud and airplane. Yeah, I can see, and it's fantastic. Lovely. That conveys a lot of meaning. Yeah.
So again, what I liked about it is I didn't do I rarely do pros and cons unless the decision is that kind of thing. So what I liked about this was to be able to see that the decision making was really complicated and I had to keep focused on my needs. But first I had to figure out that that's why I wanted to travel.
Lovely. Thank you. I mean, this is actually intense, and I also understand that why you say that you got exhausted. I was like, okay, why exhausted? But now that you explain the process and everything about it, I understand completely. And this is the beauty of mind mapping. A lot of people, they don't use it for note taking and all of that because maybe they're out of college or work, and but even just one use case, that is just using it for self expression, not for the world but even for self expressing oneself on a piece of paper, and the journey that you go through of putting down or mapping down all your thoughts and expressions and feelings and decisions or whatever, or even seeing the big picture. Yes, this is what all I did. So even that journey, it's so calming sometimes because it's all out of your mind. Sometimes it
Yes.
feels so okay. It's almost like I don't know how to say, but something like, okay, the baggage is gone. Like it's on the paper now. It is out of my
Cleansing. You're taking a shower. It's all just
yeah. So
flying away.
it feels so calming at times, and I was having this conversation this Tuesday, yeah, day before yesterday, with a mind mapper. They are like third generation Japanese in Brazil. So,
Oh.
and she has been mind mapping for 28 years now. So I took an interview with her, yeah, and I'm going to publish it on my YouTube channel. Also, I'll be sharing the link with you in a week's time. I'm editing it right now. So we were having a conversation. So she spotted me through my mind map. I used to post mind maps from 2-3 years back. I used to post small mind maps on social media. So she saw one of those mind maps and she connected with me on LinkedIn and then on Instagram. And then she shared her number. And then we became quite, though she is way senior to me, and she has been mind mapping for 28 years now, but then we became very good friends. And then I said, okay, I want to take your interview, just focused on mind mapping. And I want people to know about your journey and all. And then she was saying when she was diagnosed with, cancer, like she fought it. And now she is, for the past 10 years, she is living a very good life, healthy life. But that journey of hers, how she struggled, and she showed me a big notebook where she has mapped out everything from her doctor's visit to what she used to feel at that point of time when somebody said, okay, all your hairs will be gone, hair will be gone. Somebody would say this, that, and all that journey, that trauma, how she mapped. And she used to feel that it was that, just like how I told, that taking a shower or taking all that feelings out of the mind into the paper. So everything, and even how she used to map her pregnancy, that when her child, so what questions she will be asking the doctors, she would map out everything, and then from the mind map she would ask the doctor. So overall, even in small things also we can use it, and we feel so that calming effect that you say, that it was exhaustive at the same time, that journey that you felt was great. I think, yeah, that's how we all feel about it. So yeah, thank you for
I think
sharing
I
that.
got a
Yeah,
lot of clarity on how
absolutely.
serious, how important this trip was for me. So
Absolutely. And now
yeah,
it will
and
remain in your memory for, otherwise also it would remain, but now it is more like a part of you. It's so deep. It has gone deep. You have
yeah,
internalized the entire thing. So yeah, it will
and
remain there.
complete. So complete, right? Um, all the layers are there,
Absolutely.
not just the
Absolutely.
pictures of where I went and what I ate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, so thank you for sharing that. And now let me again, like every time I give you options. So would you want to see the book mind map first or the online one first?
Um, the online one first?
Okay,
Oh no,
sure.
wait, no. Book. Okay, my problem. I recognized it. I heard a really good talk on it. Um, yes, I need to work on completing things. So let us complete the topic of the book.
Okay, sure. We'll be doing all the things today, but then let's go for the book first. So last week, if you remember, we have seen a mind map where we have seen from how we will do the research phase. And
Mm,
so what I'll do is I did not share the mind map with you. I have shared the what you call the video recording with you. So
yes,
anyways,
yes,
that you can see after maybe a few months when you are actually thinking of writing a book or an article, you can always refer to that video and see. But otherwise also that full mind map, if you remember, where each
yes.
and every step, when the branches extend, I'll send a picture of that so that you can keep it with you as
Great,
well. So that
great.
I'll do. So that was how
Mhm.
we would go about it. So that was second step. But even before that, I will share the screen now. Even before that, uh, what we do is
Yes,
uh,
because that oh my gosh, the executive speaking coach I worked with last year for 3 sessions uh, was always kind of not, she was scolding me, critiquing me because I had credibility that I wasn't claiming. That everything I was so tentative and questioning myself and insecure, which yeah, great.
so I put the word itself at the center that you got to claim your credibility. I mean, you got it, so you just have to claim it because it's there with you. It's not you already have all of that here inside. Now you also have a mind
Mm-hmm.
mapping tool to organize all of that and put it out all on the paper. And last
Yeah,
week we saw that what are the steps we need to do, right from surveying people, interviewing people, how to do that solution and audience approach of writing a description, how to write the introduction. So all of that was done. So that would be
yes.
step one of writing the book. But step zero, I would also say step zero would be this.
I love it. I love it.
Because even before we go for research and all, we just we need to ask ourselves that why is that it could be in a piece of article, it could be the translation work that you are doing, it could be a full size, maybe an ebook, maybe just in your domain. It could be a simple ebook as well. You need not print and all, do all that stuff, but even an ebook could be so helpful. Let's say technology for, technological terms or new technologies for the people who don't understand it, explaining to them in
Yeah,
simple terms. Even that could be an ebook. So anything that you want. So why is that you want that? So I say that you have to claim your credibility, but again, you have to ask yourself that, okay, that this book that I want to write, why do I want to create a legacy, or I want to claim my credibility as an aspiring coach or trainer, or I'm a working professional and I think it will help me in my career, or I'm an educator, or I think that it is my responsibility because I know something, I should also share it with others. I just want to serve people. I want to build an authority, or maybe I just want a passive income. So whatever it is, all of this may not be fit for me. All of this may not be fit for you, but then there will be always something, one or the other, where we connect, and even one or two reason is sufficient. That
yes.
why is sufficient. So I we say that even before going to actual writing, we do this mind mapping where we at the center we write author and then name. For example, author
Mm,
and then your name. So that you
mm,
feel, okay, I'm the author now, and why do I want to become an author? So we find out two or three reasons, and it could be simply, I have seen a lot of people, they write people who mind who they don't learn direct mind mapping from me, but what they do is they write the book with me, and in the process they learn mind mapping. And so a lot of them, they write that it is my childhood dream to become an author, and even that is okay.
yeah, yeah,
It's my childhood dream. I remember this 26-year-old girl, she said it's my dream and I want to become author, and I have collected stories, I have done interviews with people, everything, and now I want to sit down and write and how it should go and all that. I said, okay, if it's a childhood dream, even that is a good reason, a good why to start
yeah,
with.
yes, 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 yes.
So we do this, and these are just some samples, I mean, sample answers, but it could be anything other than this also. And then we
Mm-hmm.
go to this branch. Again, this is very important branch where we see that who are my audience, because if I'm writing something, there should be definitely a group of people
Oh,
who might be wanting to read this, and figuring that out is so important, because only then when I do the research, like if you remember the last week's mind map, all that will work only when I know who my audience is, at least a tentative age. Now I cannot be saying that my book is going to be read by people of all ages, read by people of all countries, read by people of
yeah,
all. It's not that. We have to somehow narrow down, and maybe the age, the demographic, or any other factors that we would want. For example, if I'm writing a study guide, then I would be saying, okay, this particular branch of students, or maybe it's for students, or it's for adults, it's for women, it's for working professionals, or whatever it is. So some
yeah,
audience, some description of the audience. And then again, I also see that there are people who write books for like a particular help groups. Okay, I'm writing this for this kind of there are people who wrote for some self-help groups, that okay, this book is only dedicated for them, and even if there are 600, 700 people, sufficient, but this is like a guide for them, so even that is
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
There are people that who write for some the book is generic, but then they think that this book can go to this libraries, local libraries, this book can go to this institute, I'm going to go and put the book in all this primary schools, or maybe in colleges, or anything, or maybe some organizations where this will be useful. So people think about like any groups, organizations, or any specific individual needs. It's so whatever, all of that, and we can keep on adding more and more branches here to find out, and we can spend a good amount of time in this particular branch. Why? Because this is the most important one. That who is going to read the book? At least who are
yeah,
my ideal audience? And
right.
once we are done with that, we say that okay, at least maybe 2 or 3 core ideas. if
Mm-hmm.
if at the moment I don't have one specific idea, it could be okay, I'm thinking, just an example, I'm thinking I'm going to write about time management, and then I say okay, time management is so generic, so maybe theme could be time management, but what would be the core idea? The core idea could be that we just can't manage our time, because it's different, has different meaning for everyone, so we have to manage our energy, some people say, so whatever it is. Or maybe some
Yeah,
some narrowing down some words, and then some keywords. For example, when I write about mind mapping, and I said okay, mind mapping is a huge topic. Now people could go for 400, 500 pages, but okay, to start with, I'm
mm-hmm.
not going to address such a big thing, so let me talk about one small idea. And then I thought, okay, just self-awareness, just mind mapping
Yeah,
for self-awareness. Once we know the self and clarity is there, then we can see into other factors. So just choosing one small topic out of the entire thing, and then about on that I wrote my experiences. So something like that, and then trying to write some 5 or 6 keywords, so that when I do my research phase, this keywords will help me in searching more and more articles on the net and all that. So all of
yeah,
that.
yeah,
So then I write the score ideas and all, and then I ask myself, will I be publishing it as an ebook, a paperback? And also when I wrote, or when I help people also to write, I say, okay, who will be editing your book? Do you have your friends? At least write down the names of 3 or 4 friends who will be helping you edit your book. And
yeah,
do you have someone, a friend, or maybe it could be even your, a colleague, or someone who would be helping, or maybe you will be hiring someone who could help you in your cover design. And so these are questions people won't ask, and only when the book is halfway, or maybe the book is complete, and then all of these questions will come. Okay, I have just written the book and now nothing is ready. So instead of that, if we do this little bit, maybe the answers will change as we go forward. By the time we
yeah,
end the book, we could come up with so many solutions, but at least we have started. So the point here is, at least asking ourselves that, okay, who will be doing the editing? And if I have names of 3 or 4 friends, I know, okay, these people are going to edit. Or even if I'm going to hire someone, I know, okay, these are the places I can look for hiring. So a little bit of
Yes.
clarity gives a lot of confidence that I'm not in the middle of the ocean and lost.
Yes. So yes, it's so important to me, when one does a project, there are so many chances to pull back and stop. And hang on, I'm so sorry. Hang on. I just gotta send them a message
Yeah,
saying,
please take no issues. Yeah, please take your time.
okay. Yeah, I just told them that I would call them back. So because if you don't have clarity, you don't have confidence, you have even more chances to second guess yourself. And it's okay to change your mind, but don't second guess yourself, right? So
Absolutely.
I love this. This whole approach just makes so much sense to me, and I see how it will be helpful.
Absolutely. Thank you. So yeah, and as you said that instead of second guessing ourselves, because that is dangerous, second guessing ourselves or our own decisions can be so dangerous, because something that we have started with so much of willpower, and maybe we have even spent a lot of our time, energy, and other resources, and then midway, or maybe when almost it is 60 or 70% done, suddenly we start questioning ourselves with some self-doubt. But when we have something, I actually have this, if you the 26-year-old girl, and then suddenly her marriage was fixed, and she was in the middle of all this. She said, okay, should I postpone and just do it after the marriage? And I said, no, you just go back to this original map, and you see, you wrote it was your childhood dream, so complete the dream before your marriage. Let's work
Yeah.
extra. If you were working like 2 hours per day earlier for the book, now let's put 5 hours per day and get it done. So because once the date approaches, you will only get busier. So let's not keep it, because it's your childhood dream. Then it was written there. Then she said, okay, editing, who are the people she's going to approach? So this kind of map, whenever there's a question, and when we have already this mind maps, it feels okay, no, I'm capable, and of course I can do this. So it gives a lot of confidence, for sure.
Yes.
And
Yes.
once we, yeah, so and once what we do is, once we are done with the how, and again, as you said, as you rightly said, that over time it can change, it can evolve, but at least we will not be second guessing when we have some clarity in the beginning. And hence I say that a little bit about the timeline, that tentative, when will be my first draft ready, even if it is like after 3 months or 4 months, it's fine, but at least a tentative date. Why the date? Because that will at least keep me okay, it's not that I'm going to take forever to write this book, or it's not
Right.
that it's not that I'm going to
Someday I'll publish my memoir, hopefully before I'm dead.
So that kind of, uncertainty, at least, of course, life is uncertain. We don't know what is going to happen, but then at least we can have whatever is under our control, we can have a date. Okay, in 3 months time, or 4 months time, or 2 months time, I'm going to complete my first draft, which may not be the perfect one, but at least I'll write it, complete it. And then who is going to do the final proofread? And I also say commitment, in the sense, do you want some accountability partner? Generally, I would say either take a friend, or someone who will nudge you, who will tell you, have you completed, who is going to irritate you. So if you have somebody in your family or friend circle, and someone whom you tell consciously that, okay, please do ask me, ask my progress, or in a day, so something like that. And if there is no one, to that 26-year-old girl, or even now one lady has completed, and today she completed it. Now she has given it to the publishers. So she is from Malaysia. So she said that there is no one, you have to nudge me. And I was like, okay, how many hours did you write? How many words did you write in the week? So that gives, even if there will be some sense of frustration at times, okay, why is this person now after me? I'm going to travel. But then at the end of the day, the work gets completed when we have this commitment or some accountability with a person. And when the person is also showing interest in our work, we have a sense of, okay, I have to complete this. So that is there. So when this entire thing is ready, let me show you the map together now. So when we have this complete map, so this we call as the step 0, or claim your credibility mind map, the first step of mapping for an author. And from here, when we do this and we rest on, I say that once we do this map, let's rest on it for few days, so that, you know, you get more clarity. Okay, this is it. And then we go to the next phase, that is research and finding out keywords. And once that is done, then we go to the next step. Like in step 3, I said, okay, just if you remember last week, we did associative thinking, where we just
Yes.
made like happiness and then what other things. So just put the central theme. Let's say if the central theme is time management, then think about 10 ideas around that, and that could be the title of your book. So, and then we use mind mapping techniques slowly, one by one. Let's say, okay, today I'm going to sit with my first chapter, and in first chapter, what are the various parts? So the moment we outline every time using mind map, and then when again we sit down to write, things becomes way easier than simply directly going to write and then, you know, breaking the head and all. But with mind mapping, the
Yeah.
process becomes easier. I have tried both ways, without a mind map and with a mind map. So without a mind map, fiction stories work very well. I won't deny that, because when I'm writing some creative stories and some short stories and all, so I really don't need a mind map unless I have to plot. I use mind map for uh, plotting the character. For example, there is a girl in the story, and okay, what kind of skin color she will have, where does she stay, am I going to describe her education, am I going to describe how she looks, what kind of clothes she wears. So typically how a novel describes a and what I would
Yes.
do is I would think about people in my circle or wherever I have seen people. From there I will take inspiration and combine and give a persona, you know, just like customer persona. Here we will be like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
character. So for that, once in a while we can use mind maps, but
Yeah.
particularly for non-fiction, if we use mind maps, the work gets done in half the time. I have really
Wow.
seen this for myself and a lot of people who have mind mapped their books with me. They themselves say that we have not thought that we could write, you know, 40,000, 50,000 words in such a short span. It all happened because the first 1 month they did not write anything. They were only mind mapping, mind mapping. And once the mind
Yeah.
map was ready, it was just, okay, this chapter has 4 topics. Now I have to write on the 4 topics. This chapter has 2 topics. So it just went on that way. And then it
Yeah.
becomes, yeah, a lot of time gets saved and they never have this creative block and all, especially for nonfiction.
Yeah. 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 No, I was when I did the first book map, worked through the first one with you, I'm like, okay, this will work for nonfiction. How would it work for fiction? So I did come up with one idea for fiction. Sometimes plots are very complex, right? Especially if you're doing like a mystery.
Absolutely.
And mind mapping that, it's like
Mm,
storyboarding, but it's probably more useful because it's
mm.
more creative than storyboarding. So I like that.
Yeah, and you can also add images also. Just like you can
Yes.
actually integrate storyboarding and mind mapping together, and you can have a complete plot of, as you said, for mystery and all. Like you can actually see, okay, this is the time from this age, this person is belongs to this age. So maybe you will also need to do a little bit research about the city, even if it is an imaginative city or something like that. So all of
Right.
that, yeah, all of that can be done using mind maps, and people do that. And that gives it's, as you say, like some will call it storyboarding, some will also call it not exactly, but they will just you know, what they will do is more like a mind map, plus just they will keep on putting images. It will be less of
Yes.
words and more of images. And again, from images they will also put some post-it notes. So they will combine 2 3 techniques together, and then the entire story is there, and then they start writing so that all the characters are there. So even that
It's
can be
like,
done.
in movies or TV shows about crime, they stand right in front of this bulletin board. It starts with one picture, one name, and then keeps going with, maps and everything, and then they connect the lines with
Yeah, with pins and then
yarn.
threads. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like if they did mind mapping, it would look more organized,
Absolutely. I
right?
love that.
Perfect
Yeah.
one, perfect.
I love that.
Okay, very cool. Very
Lovely.
cool.
Okay,
You
okay,
should write a novel about someone who is a mind mapper and trying to solve a crime. Using a mind
Sure.
map.
Using a mind map. Wow, that's an amazing idea, actually.
Yeah.
I'm surely going to remember that and write it down today as a reflection of what we
Okay.
discussed.
That would be fun. I'll read it. I'll edit it. Proofread it or whatever.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah. Welcome.
Online, okay. Online coach, okay.
Oh, I have to tell you that, my mind is full of many ideas and they're in disarray. But now at least my ideas all have a hopeful objective attached to them, even if the first objective is mind map this thing.
Wow. And I think now that connecting dots also get easier, like, okay, these are the things, but then you can connect them well. Yeah.
Yes.
So the book thing, you can get more details a little bit in that course, self-paced course, which you will have access, I mean, anytime later, whenever, so you can always see that. And there I talk
Yeah,
about
I had a 4-hour train ride to get to New York. I was tempted to do it then, and I thought, no, I've got to do my actual homework for the quiz,
yeah,
and I'll
no,
do the
that will
course
be there with you,
later.
so you can do it later anytime. Yeah, no worries.
Thank you.
So yeah, so again, if you remember, some 3 to 4 weeks back, we did this article writing checklist where,
Yes.
so it's similar of that kind, but instead of article, this time we are calling it an online course, assuming that we are going to teach a short course to someone
Yep.
based on anything that we have, I mean, any of our knowledge areas or something. So uh, this is again, the template is based on several courses that I have seen or I have done, for example, from Udemy, from Coursera, and some technical subjects, some non-technical subjects. So what I did is I went through all of them and I tried to find out what is the pattern that is common there, and can I make a mind map of it. And this was not originally my idea. I never thought about it, but then because I was creating my this courses based on mind maps directly on paper, and then I would do that, but I did not have make a template. But then one of my clients, he wanted to make a course on Udemy, which is there already published in 2021, and he said, I want a mind map of how an online course should look like, because I'm going to make an online course after this session with you. And uh, he also did a second time session with me after a gap of 6 months. He enrolled for another session where he was designing his course, and during that process, this was the first mind map I made for him, and he said he exactly
Mm.
went like this and it worked. So I said, okay, let me fix it, and then we did some small tweaks here and there, and it worked for, I mean, a few
Wow.
more people. So
Wow.
yeah, I thought, why not show this to you? So
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
so as usual, we start with initial step 0, or the first step, what we call it, that who are the audience, for example, who is it for? And we will write down, for example, are they teenagers, or what is their age and demographics and all. So simply, just like how we did it for the book, for the course as
Yes.
well, in the initial phase, who are my audience, and what is the need? So uh, any myths, mindset that you need to address, or do you need to collect data, statistics? So just because this is not a book which is going to be very extensive, this is like a short course that we're going to do, so we don't want to spend a lot of time just on research, but at the same time just asking yourself this question. For example, this person was making a course on resilience, about the first person with whom we did this. So what he thought was, it was important, even a child should be taught resilience. Even at schools, they are introducing curriculum where everyone is taught resilience, because it teaches so much. It is so important. When we become resilient, automatically it affects our it improves our well-being, and not only our own, but any environment where we go, we start building that. People start looking at us as dependable individuals, because this person does not get bogged down by small failures. So this is a person
Right.
who, so we are on, so he said that the need is, it is for the environment and for the personal well-being as well. So anything. So similarly, in our case also, whatever is the need, we will just write down all those needs here in the branches.
Mm.
And what we do is we do a little bit of market study, like, is there a demand or requirement for this course? It could be that I'm assuming that this is a very important course, but then only when I do a little bit of market study, I realize that there's no such need. It's only my assumption. So even that could happen. So just a little
Yeah.
bit study about whether this is actually required or not. And then these are all very personal thing where we don't actually start the course, but these are just like reflection points.
Yeah.
Then objective. Am I doing it just to gain credibility, which is okay? Maybe I'm a coach or someone and I want to tell people, okay, I have a course on Udemy or something like that. Or I want to assist people in the society, help people. So whatever is my objective, I write or at least think about it a little bit. And maybe I write down 2 or 3 keywords. And then I think about what is going to be the unique selling point for my course. What is how is your course unique? Have something, a strong description, something, your story, and how why you feel so special about this particular thing, why you feel so connected, why are you so passionate. You might be having some backstory. So just thinking about that. So even before going and directly recording the course or something, we just ask ourselves these few questions. Who is going to be my audience? Need, a little bit of market study, what is my objective, and what is going to be the USP. And once all of this self-reflection is done, then we design the course, starting with part 1. In part 1, this is again a very what we do is, in part 1, the first step is the promise, where we explain to our audience, or our audience only, we explain to our students, audience, that we explain how you want to serve them through this course, and you give a clarity through a promise. It's more like what they can expect, not what you are expecting, but what they can expect.
Right.
And how you are going to serve that. And maybe a very small, even a 2-minute or 3-minute video is also fine, but at least they get a clarity. Okay, this is what this course is going to provide me.
Yeah.
Once that is done, next in part 1, what they can expect from this course and what commitment you want from the learners. So a strong statement,
Yes.
of what do you expect from them. It could be their time, it could be their commitment, it could be you want them to do the exercises and get back to you. So whatever it is, or dedicated if at least 20 minutes per day, follow the exercise. Or it could be simple things, but at least setting up the next step, that this is what I expect from you. Then comes, okay, maybe this is 2 minutes or 10 minutes expectation, maybe another 5 minutes. Then we come to the main thing, the story. So in the research part, in that first initial part, you have reflected upon why do you want to do this course in the first place. So you share your purpose with a very strong personal story from your own experience, that why you feel so strongly about this. And then maybe you can add a small worksheet based on, okay, what is just to assess that if whatever the course is, it could be a simple technological term. So are they aware of these terms or not, or just true false, or just one word question answer. So what they think is, okay, they feel more connected now. They know your story, they know what is this course going to do for me. They know it's not just another trainer here, but this person has a very strong reason to teach this. So she's going to teach us in the best possible way. So that is what we do in the first part, that is introduction part. And this entire thing, what we are doing it for a very basic introductory level course, not for some very what do you call it, high level course. Then we go, okay, this has jumbled up, part 2 has gone on top. So then in part 2, what we do is we introduce them the concept. It could be, if it is a mind mapping, I will tell them what is mind mapping and all of that. So we just introduce, we are not still telling them in-depth knowledge about it, maybe introduce, or maybe talking to them about the commonly used terminologies. So all of that, so all of this will be in the understanding level. So I'm writing, if you can see, I'm just increasing the font. That in part 2, the focus is mainly on introducing the concept to your audience at the understanding level. We are not going into deep levels now, only at the understanding level. If it is a mind map, maybe, okay, at least they understand, okay, mind map is something, it goes like a radial diagram, and still they may not know how to draw it, which is fine, but at least they
Right.
have an understanding. It helps you to organize, and maybe I can share the library metaphor story here. So some small
Mhm.
things, maybe I will show them at 1 or 2 mind maps, so they understand a little bit, okay, this is a mind map, this is not a mind map, and uh, mind maps will help me do this, these are the benefits. So it's very simple, but at the same time they can at least now, and based on that we again conduct a simple recall or define quiz worksheets. A
Yep.
simple
Yep.
either define this or recall or true false statement, a simple worksheet. And they feel okay, now the moment we put some quiz they feel connected, especially if it is
Yep.
for young learners. And
Mhm.
so that comes to part 2. Then in part 3 what we do is, we in part 3 we also do passive branding here.
Hmm.
And the part 2 is more about 2 levels. In the part 1 we did, part 2 we did application, not application, it was understanding level. Here we do application, that is show them that, for example, how whatever concept you are teaching, how it relates to them, and you can
Yep.
show them through your experiences, some stories or something that, for example, again I'm taking the example of mind mapping here. So if I show them mind mapping, I'll tell them that, okay, using mind mapping you can track your habits, or using mind mapping you can take, based on who my audience is, and I will see
Yep.
for my audience what is the application. If I tell them, they will feel more interested, and then I
Yep.
will
Yep.
share some stories, some examples, or maybe case studies. So now they know, okay, application. And here I will also tell them about how they can build their own mind map. So all of that examples I will give here. So in the application, then again in the analysis part, I will take them through a journey. Like I will give them some concepts or questions, how they can experiment and see the significance of what I'm teaching. So any
Mm.
concept that
Mm.
whatever you have taught them, now we'll take them through a journey. Maybe we start with a blank map, or in case you are teaching some any other subject, we start with a question, and then we say, okay, how are we going to, what are the different ways of solving it? So it could be anything, or maybe if we are even people who teach data analytics, they might just open a spreadsheet and they will take some data and they will say, okay, can we do this? Okay, no, it is wrong. Can we do this? So just taking them through the journey instead of directly
Yep.
showing them what it is, so they feel
Yep.
more connected. So I call this the analysis phase. So through questions and experimentation and interactive teaching, we show them the significance of what we are teaching, and then we give them an interactive exercise where they can apply this. And in the middle of all of this, while we are doing all of this, in part 3 we ensure that we are doing passive branding. Like we have to build whatever is your brand. It could be anything. It could be if you want to build your credibility, or it's, I mean, not necessary, but in case you want to put them that, okay, you are someone who is very passionate about technology, so
Yep.
you might want to share a story so that you as a technology passionate person goes into their mind. It's
Yep.
more like that repetition and association principle of your MIG, if you remember.
Yeah. And why is that important?
That is important. I mean, lovely question.
I mean,
Mhm.
if you, I guess it's important if you think you're going to be doing more courses and you want to have
Absolutely.
a following.
Yeah, and
Um,
even if I'm not doing more courses, but then uh, at the end of the day, I have a why. That why is that, what is the reason that I'm going to create this course? So even if the reason is as simple as that I'm passionate about technology and I want people to know about technology, even if they may not be as literate as me to understand it, but I want to break it down into simple terms for them. So even that
yep.
passion is enough. That is your brand, that is your personality. So when you put that in the mind of the learners passively through some stories, they can always come back to you for that. So in future, if you are writing a book or you are writing on
Yeah.
social media or anywhere you are, they would always follow you. They would know that this person is for this purpose. We can
It,
rely on her. So kind of building your credibility in their mind, not
yeah.
directly but passively through stories. Yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering if psychologically there was something pedagogical, right? That they are more attentive, more interested in learning if they know more about you. the other thing I thought of is this is a really good way to work the one of the MIG principles in, right? Where you, in the middle of something where you think it's going a little bit boring,
Yeah.
you do a turn or
Yeah.
humor, or you break the model of I'm here to teach you information. It's more
Yeah.
like, let me
So
talk to
the
you as a
moment you
person.
share your stories or something like that, so I keep sharing a story of whenever I'm doing some 3 hour, 4 hour sessions, and then I share a story of how I lost quite a good amount of money around COVID. It was before COVID began, at least in India, around the time there was no COVID. Because I was not comfortable with Zoom, the person asked me to come
Um,
on Zoom, and I, for the first half an hour, I just could not figure out anything because I was a very typical teacher who goes to college, university, and I teach my
yeah.
students in the classroom. For me, maximum I would use PPT, PowerPoint presentations. I would use okay, I would use Excel sheets. So those were the things I was using. I was never comfortable with speaking to a camera and then assuming that my children, I would always say my children, that they are all there. So that was out of my mind. So when I first went into freelancing, and I was still working also, and when this person called me on Zoom, and I just, I don't know what I did, but I could not fix when the person was saying, "Did you check your mic?" I was searching here. Again, the PPT was not opening, the chat box was not working. And I said, okay,
Um,
so I said that I was technologically challenged at one point of time. And then I felt so bad about it because they did not actually understand that, okay, this can happen to anyone. And I had, by that time, it was already third part of the thing, and I had already given them a proposal step by step. I had spent a lot of time preparing the proposal and how we would be going doing it, and through emails everything was correct. Only that last, on the final day, when they would be giving me the project and I would be their consultant for a small, it was a small scale business, and then they thought that just because of Zoom did not work, and they say that no, we will be having a difficulty because we are in different location geographically, so we will be needing to meet more on Zoom, and if you mess up like this, it will, working with you will be difficult. And I say, okay, so this is my story. So I take them differently, and then from there
yeah,
I say, but
yeah.
then I work hard, and from there I took it as a challenge that I'm going to do Zoom sessions over and over again. And I started recording, and then I went on. Finally, I have delivered so many Zoom sessions now, and it went so. So maybe just some out of track stories, but then a lot of people say, "Oh, we remember your technologically challenged story."
Right, 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 right.
Yeah, it breaks the monotony, as you rightly said, and bringing MIG principle is one thing, but when you spoke about the pedagogy, uh, as a teacher, what we were taught when we were getting, I mean, in India we get teachers training as well when we work in colleges and all. Once in 6 months or once in a year, they give us how to become effective teachers.
Well,
So
that's
the
great.
teacher,
They don't
yeah.
do that in the United States, so
Okay.
that's great.
So the teacher, so there they would say that somewhere in the middle of the, it's not that if you introduce yourself right in the beginning, people feel bored. If you introduce
Yeah.
and you tell about, okay, I'm so and so, at the end, they might lose interest. So middle is the place where you build. Even if you want to tell people that, okay, class, I want punctuality, or class, I want commitment in my class. You have to have discipline. So whatever is that you want to put it in their brain, you do it somewhere in the middle through stories. It goes
Okay.
better, it goes deeper. So I kind of picked up that concept. Yeah.
Great, great. I love it.
So yeah, so part 3 was about application and analysis and interactive exercises and passive branding. Then
Mm-hmm.
finally we come to part 4, where we start with let me just decrease the size. Yeah. So we start with a kind of, we try to tell them in part 4, we try to give them a recap of the course, because if you remember, we started with your story, what they can expect, the promise, what they can expect from you, and all of that. Then we introduce the concept at the understanding level. Then we also told them about how to do, what to do, application analysis and all of that. Now we want to tell them that, okay, from where to where you have come. And this is again a kind of a common way, because when we tell our students or when we show them that how far they have come, they feel a kind of sense of accomplishment, that okay, from 0 to 1 or A to B or whatever, I have made this progress in this course. So they feel
Yep.
good about it. And of course we can do it now that you are a mind mapper, you know about mind mapping. You can actually do it using mind mapping, also showing, okay, this are the things that you have done, or
Mm-hmm.
we have learned the 5 principles of marketing, anything it could be, or we have
Right.
learned this technological terms, or we have decoded this technology for you, and now even you can go further. At least you have the introductory level with you, so something like that we see in the conclusion. And
Yep.
this is kind of passively trying to show them how far they have come along with you in the learning journey. And we say that in part 4 we want to end with a great story, a strong story. It could be your own story, it could be a very story maybe picked up from history or somewhere. So based on what subject that you're teaching, it could be any story, but a kind of story that, because they will remember stories and not the lessons. Stories are what they are going to, so
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to teach, you have to put it inside the story and teach them. And
Yeah.
kind of once the story is towards the end, then we also want to tell our learners that it's not that you are leaving them because the course is over, but
Yeah.
they should feel that you are hand holding them, so you can suggest them that what kind of, if they are further interested in the subject, what is the book they can refer, or can they contact you on from social media or emails, or even if you are saying, okay, they need not contact me, so are you giving them some reflection workbook maybe at the end of the course, some material for studying further, so something, but something showing them that, okay, this is not end of it, and from today you don't know me and I don't know you. It's instead of that, just showing them a small way forward, that okay, this is how you can move forward in this journey in
Yeah.
case you're interested.
Yeah.
So way forward, and then of course telling them that if possible you can assure them that they can email you if they have a doubt, or you can, in case you are interested that people contact you through your social media, you can always talk about that. This is again optional, but you can do this. And then finally, this is again very almost, we have all of these are CTAs only, way forward, reach and all, but still if you want them, that for example in some of my courses I say that I end with giving, if it's like a short course, very introductory level course, I end with giving a workbook which has 7 questions, 7 mind maps that they are supposed to do after the course
Mm-hmm.
completion, next 7 days, what they will do. They can email me the mind maps if they wish. And then I say the CTA would be that for the next 1 month, can you just spend 15 minutes a day mind mapping? You need not tell me, but this is a commitment you can do to yourself, I mean for yourself. Or another CTA was like, I gave them a thought experiment, okay, these are the 3 questions, and even if you're taking 1 year to answer this question, it's fine, but have, whenever you are working throughout the day or something, just keep these questions in your mind and ask yourself that what is that I want, or something like that. So some kind of very soft, not very hard CTA, like
Yes.
okay, follow me, there's that, not like that, but some very subtle and soft CTAs, call to actions, to complete the course. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
makes it a
Yeah.
complete course if you see, though it's a very short one, but then if you just put all this elements, at least to start with, we can build an introductory level course on any subject.
Yeah. Yeah. A good one too on really solid learning and teaching methods. So that's great. That's just really great. And
Yeah.
um yeah.
So yeah, actually I just arranged, I didn't know how it all went up and
Oh,
down. Now it looks better, yeah.
good.
So yeah, so I think we did about the book, and we also did about the this online course as well. So this will
Yes.
be the main agenda today. And if you wish, we can do the podcast, or what do you want? I mean,
We could do some of the podcast
mm,
because I, I I got a little more encouragement from someone, someone I respect very much, who was head of press relations for investors at
Okay.
a rather large software company I worked at. And she's like, you should do a podcast. So I'm like, so I'm getting even more clarity around, yes, let's do the podcast.
Lovely. So now that you got this clarity as well as you also got support, because that kind of encouragement sometimes, maybe we have not done something for a year and then somebody gives that spark and it just, that's sufficient and you move forward. That small push could be the final thing. And then from there, you become unstoppable. I have seen this happening so many times. And sometimes it's important also that somebody
Yeah,
comes and tells us. And then, so yeah, lovely. So if you remember, we have planned, we have done this part. Maybe we can do
yes,
the pre-recording part today. So we have
okay,
planned, and if you remember, your purpose was there. Then you also spoke about a good one about who will be your target audience.
yes,
So simplifying technology for non-technical persons in the age group of
yeah,
25 to 60, age marketers, and then what could be the topics, intentional mix like trending and foundational. You will have a co-host and you would be naming them here, potential guest. You will make that at least for the first 4 or 5 episodes, you will be
yeah,
deciding beforehand. And then you said you would be keeping it like two kind of formats. One could be long format, which is more like 20 to 30 minutes interaction with another person, and one could be short, which is just like you self-talking kind of monologue and not a dialogue.
yep,
Yeah. And in the research phase, you would also be seeing that what kind of mic, software, or studio arrangements, if any, you want, and what is the platform. For example, you would be doing it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever it is. So some tools and all of that. And then schedule what would be your launch date and what would the frequency, like 2 episodes per week or 1 episode per week, and what is the time uh, every week or every day or whenever it is, exact time when it will be uploaded. So all of those things,
okay,
because
yep,
it will depend upon which country you are in, who are your audience, what is the time they're active, and all of that. So yeah, we did all of this. So we did quite a lot of things if you see now.
yes, yes. And as I'm kind of thinking more, all of this still applies completely.
And you can always take a printout of this and keep on adding more and more.
Yes,
Yeah. Once we
yes,
complete this, I'll be sending you the entire map so
thank
that
you.
we can actually have it all together. And now we will go to the next phase, that is before recording, what are the things we need. So pre-recording, of course, you need an intro.
Yes,
That first, welcome to so and so podcast, and in this podcast you can access, so something like 30 seconds or 1 minute or something, that script, intro script.
yeah,
And of course, similarly, you'll also need an outro. I don't know what it
yes.
is called, but I'm just writing outro.
No, yeah, no, that's a perfect word. That's it. Yep.
Okay. And then you might be needing scripts for each episode, like
Right.
tentative at least. Yeah.
Yes.
So how are you going to write those scripts? Like, are you going to batch produce it? Like, let's say you're going to do it for the entire month on one weekend, at least the scripting part. Maybe recording you
Yep.
will do before later, but pre-recording, this is pre-recording. So for the entire
Yes.
month, we will do it on one particular weekend. I'm going to sit and then I'm going to write it for the entire month. So something like that.
Yep.
So scripts, so episode, I'll just write down batch produce or whatever it is. Just
Right.
brainstorming all
Right.
of that. Yeah. Then,
And how far ahead of time and stuff. I would also definitely add graphics
yeah,
because it's a picture is worth 1,000 words. So each
absolutely.
episode should have some kind of a diagram
Mm-hmm.
or picture, and that would be used for promoting the video on
Absolutely.
the course or the
So,
podcast.
so all kind of
Um,
graphics, maybe for promotion purpose,
yep,
then graphics for not just promotion. What is that? In podcast, you need this main page, right? That landing
right,
page, the main page. Yeah,
right,
I'll just write landing page where people land. So they see one picture of maybe you with something or whatever it is. So that one, so graphics and
yep, And then an
Also,
illustration type of graphic.
okay, yeah, illustration. Yeah. Oh, what is this? Yep. Yep. And we would also maybe would you have like to have some templates like uh, that whenever it is a 2-minute video, this is going to be the template. Whenever it is a 20 minutes video, maybe um,
Yeah,
some sort of template, because even if it's a conversation, we will always need to have some background template that this is how I'm going to talk with my host or with my co-host or with the guest or something.
yeah,
So some kind of scripts in the script
yeah.
itself, some kind of templates. Yeah. So anything
Um,
else? Yeah, in
a
pre-recording.
kind of a schedule
Yeah.
so that the speakers know when they can expect to see the interview questions. So what I'm thinking now is to combine my recent successes writing articles based on interviews um, with the podcast. So I'm now confident that I have a reputation for asking questions other journalists don't usually ask, and they're very good and thoughtful, and they let people really put their best foot forward. So I would want to let the guests know what the questions are ahead of time.
Wow. So in that case, I'm just adding this questions
Yeah,
for the guests. Yeah.
yeah,
So that is one. And anything else in pre-recording? So yeah, these are all pre-recording scripts, episodes, batch producing them, graphics,
yeah.
schedule from start to end. Everything should be scheduled. Like when are you, how many days before are you going to give them the questions?
Yeah.
And then what is the
So,
time they will meet you? Everything. After that,
right.
within how many days it is going to go online? How many days you will be needing for what do you say, editing and all
Post
of that purpose?
processing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So or the
Yep.
complete schedule, yeah.
Yep.
So do we have anything else in pre-recording?
Since I haven't done this, I can't really t-shirts with our logo. Never mind. No, that was a joke.
But I'll just put it. We say that
Okay.
in mind mapping, we say that anything that comes from our mind, and if we are mind mapping, we should put it there.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that would be a cool thing to give guests too, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. So anything, because it came out from your mind. Now, whether you do it at a later phase or not is different thing, but then it came out from your mind, so we should have it on the map.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so yeah, that was pre-recording. Let us quickly do the production. So production, I think main thing is we have to record,
Yes.
because we are already taking care of other things in the planning phase, where we are already calling the guest. I mean, who will be the guest and all of these things, scheduling
Yes.
everything. In pre-recording, we
Yes.
are already scheduling and doing all those work, sending emails to guest, and all of the pre-recording part is done there. So once all
Mm-hmm.
of this is
Mm-hmm.
done, what we have to do in production is we have to record it and edit it. I see this two as the main things in production. Rest editing, post production, we have to go for review and all of that. So I'm just putting it, then we can always discuss. So in post
Yeah.
production, um, we
Review.
can publish. Of course, we need to publish it. Then we have to engage. I'm just writing engage. I mean, engage in the sense you will have somewhere where you have put it. So um, kind of not
A
engage,
little bit of a
yeah,
CTA or
yeah,
continue the conversation or
yeah. So yeah, publish, distribute it,
yeah,
and
promote.
promote. Yeah, that would be nice. Promote. So all of this we'll have to do post production. So main work is publish, distribute, promote, and I think yeah.
Can we add guest kind of guest under promotion, just add another branch for guests
Okay.
to remind them that they should we should also promote on their social media that
Yeah,
they've appeared on
absolutely,
the
absolutely.
podcast.
And you can even give them that, okay, your links and all of that where they can watch. So generate links and all of that. So yeah, distribute means in the sense it will be links only because it is a podcast. It will be links only.
Right, right.
Links and publish it in different channels, or I
Yes,
don't know what we call it, mediums. Yeah.
yeah,
So on different mediums, and yeah, distribute the links, promote through guest, promote through maybe friends.
yeah. Or yeah, network.
Yeah, your network. So whichever way possible, promoting it through all of these channels, then
Yeah,
publishing, distributing. And I have kept an extra branch for evaluation because once we are done
I
this,
love that.
we also need to review
Yes,
and we can also
that's right.
actually ask somebody for feedback, people who are really, we know that these are the persons who is not going to just give criticism, at the same time not
Yeah,
the persons who will simply praise, but someone who is
right.
authentic and would give you constructive appreciation as well as feedback both. If
Yeah,
there is something good, they are not going to hide it from you, and if there is something that you can improve, that also they are going to say you. So we can always have
yes,
some people in our network who can do that for us. So review and feedback, and also if from the audience,
yes,
if you're getting anything, so even building upon that and using all of this in your next production
yeah,
phase and research phase and all of that.
yeah, yeah,
So this is again a very basic, if you see, that we have done now, because all this will evolve. I would use the word evolve and not change, because once you have fixed the topic that this is what I'm going to do, and you will see that all of this is more like a very basic template. But once we
yes,
start doing all of this, okay, it will serve like a checklist. Did I help my and promote, for example, what I do is when we are in the verge of publishing a book, even an ebook or a simple guidebook and all that, what we tell people is, if you're going to publish after 2 months, from now onwards, you start publishing short quotes or something around that topic.
right,
And we do it
right.
strategically. We make a mind map. Monday, we are going to talk about this topic. Sunday, we are going to talk about this topic. Saturday, we are going to talk about this. So 3 times in a week, we are going to talk on LinkedIn. 3 times on a week, the other 2 days we'll be talking on Facebook, wherever your audience are. And and then finally, when they are daily, or at least they have an idea, okay, this person keeps on talking about well-being, well-being, well-being. And now when you bring up a podcast or a book or something related to that, okay, they connect. So it's also like indirect promotion as well, even before
Yeah,
it was
and that
done.
passive branding a little bit too.
Yeah. So
So,
yeah, so we do that, and these are very simple things. We don't need to spend a lot of time and all. It's like what we do is whatever we are writing, or maybe the podcast is on, let's say, some topic. So around that topic, even if we just turn a book, or maybe while we were working, we just need to pick up one line from there and maybe just write a line about it and just a
yep,
picture. Even that is fine.
yep,
So yeah,
yep.
that helps a lot. So
Mm.
yeah, I'll share this picture with you as well, and you can keep adding. I mean, when I share the link with you, I'll put all these pictures, and you can keep adding all those dates and everything.
So a question I have is the treatment of guests. So is this the kind of thing where I would link with dotted lines all the places where we're touching the guests?
Yes, yes, yes. Wow. I think that's lovely. So we had guests. Where did we have guests?
We had guests at the scripting part, at the research, so potential guests
Okay. So we have
in the
potential guests here.
research. Yeah.
Okay, for example, here we have the
And then
connection,
we
and where do we
have
have
them
guest
with
again?
the scripts. The guest will get the scripts, right?
Okay, for
Or the
example,
questions. Somewhere
yeah,
I put the questions that they will get the
here is
questions.
one guest, promote,
Yeah.
and
And
another
further
guest was,
down, questions for the guests
oh
in
yes, yes,
pre-recording.
yeah. So okay, let me just,
And maybe the t-shirts with logo also. Well, and yeah.
So yeah, where's what?
Yeah, second to from the bottom in the pre-recording.
Okay, question for the guest
Yeah.
and T-shirt
Yeah.
with the logos as well.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
this is
Yes.
lovely, actually, because somehow I missed it. And this is exactly what we are supposed to do in a mind map, that we have to connect all those potential links, because then we are not doing it 3, 4 times. The moment you're connecting, that, okay, for the guests. So when you see the mind map, you know that whenever you're touching a guest, these are the touch points. They
Right.
are potential guests, you have to send them the questions, you have to, so for
Yeah.
example, you have to tell them that, okay, before the mm, maybe 3 days before, you have to send them the link once, reminder, and then one day before, and then 3 days after the podcast, you are going to tell them, okay, here's the link, and you have to share. So you all have that in your mind. You won't miss out
Yeah.
the moment there is
Right.
a link. But if there is no link, there are chances that we may just miss out on one branch. So
And the reason I thought of that is because I was thinking, do we need a branch just for guests? But then I thought, oh no, they're sprinkled everywhere, so just
this is
connect.
amazing. I'm
Okay.
so happy, actually.
See, I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm internalizing it.
Because you said exactly, this is what was missing out in this mind map. I absolutely love it.
So
So
if
yeah.
I watch your podcast and you're starting to give away t-shirts. That's great. Or yeah, or stickers. They're very cheap.
Mm-hmm. Really. So yeah, I'll also share that podcast. I mean, not exactly podcast, but yeah, kind of that YouTube. I'll be putting it on my YouTube, that interview where we speak with
Yeah, I
Liz
would.
Mora. So it's in the
Yeah,
editing phase. We generally do it within 10 days. So by coming week, it will be on. So I'll share with you the link as well. And she speaks about on a range of topics. And there are other people also. I have taken for 4 persons till now interviews, and just to understand how people think about mind mapping and all of that from different part of the world. And because it's so interesting that though we live in different part of the world, but then there's something common, and how we connect it through mind mapping, and in all different countries and in all different geographical locations, the emotions are not much different. We all face the
mm,
same issues, and the solutions are also the same. So it doesn't matter where we are. So that's the beauty.
yeah, definitely. I can see that.
So yeah, that was all for, I mean, today we discussed about the book, and then the podcast, and also the online course. And I hope you had a nice session.
Yes, and all of it is so useful. And the experience I had with the emotional,
Hmm.
the psychological, whatever work that I did with the mind mapping when I thought I was just going to do the trip superficial, the surface, just made me realize the power of mind map for thinking, which is something that you've touched on and we've done, the gratitude and things like that.
But
But
this was real
this is great.
experience from your own personal experience. So
Yes.
it's much more valuable than, as you said, not just pictures, but now you have all those experiences there. And yeah.
Mm, yes. In fact, I can draw my trip mind map and make that the first slide of my trip photo album.
Wow. Lovely idea. I would love to see that. And whatever mind maps you have made, you can share them I mean, through email. And I have a doctor appointment again tomorrow evening and Saturday. So I'll be sending you the links and all of that on Sunday. On
Okay,
Sunday, I'll
great.
be sharing you this video as well as the links, and the questions that I have sent you in the previous link.
Yes,
Those are very beautiful questions.
yes.
So they have been curated from different sources, and how people think, and from uh, a lot of other books. Like I read books on emotional intelligence, I read books on coaching. So from there, whatever the best parts comes together, I just try to formulate a question and how we can use it as a self-reflection point. So during the week, if you have time and whenever possible, you can
no,
just
I do. Yeah, I find this.
I mean,
It's
you
hard
can
to
just
sit
have
down
one
and say,
question
I'm
a
gonna
day.
think.
Yeah. Instead
Yeah.
of having 2-3 questions on the same day, we can just take one question and spend a day. I mean, spend a day in the sense just thinking about it, and maybe just at the end of the day we can mind map or something. And this week I'm not going to give you any exercise or something like that. It will be more like a reflection of what you have done, because the coming week is our 8th week where we will be trying to put all the things. We will see how we have done so far, and any questions, anything, we will put it all together. So I'll be sending you the links and the mind maps for sure, but not too many exercises to work upon, because it will be more like a reflection week. And
Let's catch up.
Yeah, and and we will meet same time again on Thursday coming week. And yeah, and I wish you a great week and a great day ahead, a great week ahead, and also a lovely weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, and thank you for keeping it up even though you're not feeling good and have all this extra stuff going on in your life. I acknowledge and praise you for your commitment to your students. So
thank you. Keep me in your prayers. And
I do. You have had candles lit for you in Germany. I'll send you a picture, a couple pictures, and yeah, no, you are every day in my prayers. So
thank you. That means a lot, actually. That really means a lot. So thank you so much. Yeah.
You're so welcome.
Looking
You're
forward
a
to
very
see you
special
again.
person. You're remarkable. I feel honored to have crossed paths with you. And it's all thanks to your lake and the invasive water hyacinth.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm humbled by your words. And yeah,
thank you. All right. See you next week.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. I'm trying to leave. Really?
Yeah. Me too. Yeah.